Yeah, it's Wednesday morning almost. But this morning I had a great conversation. There's a group that I meet up with. It's a book club, an entrepreneurial book club, and it's the whole person concept that we work on when it comes to what we do within the book club. And going through a book that I've already talked about, highlights, highly suggest other people getting The Buddha and the Badass. And there were some things that were talked about from the chapter that we read. And then, of course, the other book I've been reading, some different things are coming out. But before that, I want to give a shout out to the sponsors, that of Tabala's Food for Thought, Rock City Cafe. And as you can see down there, it says and ... So exciting news. Ended up having another sponsor come join up with Two Native Sons, and excited for that because when I got done, met with the owner. And so the new sponsor that we have with Two Native Sons is the Chicken Coop. And what I'm going to do is put in the comment section the link for the video that Jasper had accomplished with Tabala's Food for Thought. And you'll be able to click on that, go check out the video, and really get to hear the story that Sherry has as the owner of the Chicken Coop, and her drive and passion for what she has when it comes to the community focus. And as you can see, it's right there. But it's beautiful because sat down with her, Patrick and I are working with her on the commercial that we'll utilize within highlighting her as a sponsor, but just had a great conversation, just had a real life conversation once we got done with that. And just to see the passion and the love that Sherry has for that community, it's a beautiful thing. So shout out to Sherry for trusting us, allowing us to come and highlight them and showcase who they are and just the strength that they provide within the community based on what they do within the Black Forest community. And told her when I was getting ready to leave, thank you for just allowing us to support you and coming on with us. She's like, you know what? It's a great thing. Want to support you, see your business thrive, and wanted to take the opportunity to be able to give back to you. And I was like, man, it's a beautiful thing when that type of collaboration works and then it's just spoken. So the next Tuesday, I think we have it set up for 10:30. Patrick and I, Jasper may be there, but we'll be there doing a live stream with Sherry, just doing a more of a deep dive with her, getting more information and just getting more of her story out. But as we see here, when I look at the different sponsors that we have for Two Native Sons, they're all driven on the community aspect. They're all driven on seeing what we can do, what they can do to strengthen the ties and the relationships within the community. And so it's a beautiful thing. But if you haven't been to the Chicken Coop before, great place, great staff, great owners, and the customers that they have are just great individuals. I think next week when we sit down and talk to Sherry some more and do the live stream with her, get into how the name of the Chicken Coop came about. It was very interesting. So that was something that Sherry and I had talked about today while we were just sitting down and just having a discussion and a conversation. So I'm excited to really share, because it's those type of things really to bring up the history, to share the history is one of those true things of what makes that heart story central and really drives it and whatnot. So again, like I said, just excited because that puts us at 3 sponsors now, and just excited to be able to showcase and share their story, and just to help enhance their presence and just to get them out there, because each of them have a story that is needed, and their passion and drive for the community is huge. So again, thank you to the 3 sponsors that we have, that of Tabala's Food for Thought, Tabala's Creative Cuisine once they start getting back on the road, Rock City Cafe, Ricky and his wife Angel for what they do, their passion, their drive, and then of course the Chicken Coop. So excited for that. And we do have some other things coming into play with 2 native sons. And it's just, when I look back on this, since it hasn't been that long, the 4th of September. So we're coming up on 5 months since we launched the business and the idea, and just to see the growth and the traction that's taken place, and seeing people to come together, and we're working with a lot of people, and dreams are being driven, dreams are growing, dreams are taking fruition, dreams are just big, and just to have a vehicle that's big enough for everybody to jump in, but then we get into the other vehicles and go and drive and get to their dreams and help them achieve their dreams. And I can't say it enough. It's one of those things that if you are working on something right now, if you have an idea, you have some sort of business idea, honestly, do a deep dive and make sure it's large enough, that it's a large enough vehicle that people can come join you, but you can also turn around and help them strive after their dream and whatever that is. And then it goes into play too of, if you're going and trying to do business by yourself, you really need to consider, you've got to find a business partner. This is just my experience with working with Patrick, Jasper, Mike, Mandy, just everybody, Sherry, Ricky, just to have those partnerships and to have individuals that you can work with. It's a beautiful thing, because life happens, life throws curveballs, and it will test you to really see if you're truly all about building the business and bringing that dream to fruition, or if you're going to let life come and slap you around and see if you'll give up. And so it's one of those things that I've brought up and I've talked before, that having the business partner, having that strong relationship really does benefit everybody, because sometimes we get in a rut, or as Patrick had the experience dealing with COVID, and I was helping making sure things were moving along for 3 or 4 weeks. And so imagine if it was just Patrick doing this and that happened, the business would have came to a halt, and it would have been hard to get back up. So that's why I highly suggest looking and seeing about finding that business partner that you resonate with, you have the same vision, the same goals, the same dreams, and partnering with them. Because the other thing is, you as an individual have your weaknesses. And so you've got to find those individuals that can come in, and the strengths that they have, they can complement you and cover your weaknesses. Because if you can focus on your strengths and you can focus on what makes you you, and it's the driving force for you, it's a beautiful thing, because then you don't have to worry about trying to cover the weaknesses. You have that partnership, you have that collaboration piece where people come in and they complement you by their strengths covering your weaknesses. And so it's just some things to really consider, really to think about. But I highly suggest really doing the deep dive and looking to see if what you're building is going to be large enough, that vision, that vehicle is going to be large enough where people can jump in with you, help you drive that bus to reach that vision, but then you can turn around, and because it's such a large enough vehicle, the individuals can go after their dreams, and you can turn around and go with them to help them go and get whatever those dreams are, achieve whatever the goals are. And that's sometimes a difficult thing, because we get into the point where we're scared that somebody's going to steal our ideas. I don't know. And that's the one thing that I'll highlight, because talking about the Buddha and the Badass, the chapter that we were reading, chapter 2, that's one of the things that's brought up in that chapter. And I just have to laugh, because I was like, man, this is stuff people really need to hear. And it's one of those books, even though I've got 20,000 books, whatnot, it's one of these books that I highly suggest getting a hold of and really doing a deep dive. And you can see it's really been worn down here with the cover. It's all tearing apart and whatnot, so it's good times. But it's one of these things that with chapter 2, it's talking about attracting your allies. And so that's where you've got to work to become the person that attracts the people that you're looking for. You've got to be the leader that attracts other leaders. And so you've got to work on yourself. It's the mindset piece. It's doing the internal work. And one of the things in here is, I was just looking at it. Oh, when it comes to the business, how the world will be transformed in the near term because of your business. And so think about that. This business that you're creating or this idea that you have, how will the impact be created? What impact will it have on the world? And because you're around and your business is around, what does the world look like because of the existence of your ideas, of you chasing your values, of you chasing those ideas and those dreams? What does the world look like because those things exist? And so it does get you to look and start thinking in a different light. And then it helps you to start asking those questions that will bring answers to help you reach further along to get your goals. And it's unique because the verbiage, the questions that you ask, how that plays into those different things. And it's one of those aspects that if you look, it's like, how will the world be transformed because of my business? How is the world impacted because of the business that I have, the ideas that I have, and the visions that I have? And where was it at? Oh yeah, here it was. The right people will be drawn by your vision. The wrong people may be repulsed, but this is exactly what you want. And that thing about that, like you have to get to the point and understand that it's okay that if people are repulsed by your idea, that's great because that starts cutting out those potential weeds. And if you cut them out early, then it helps you out with going towards that goal, that dream, that vision, whatever it is. But then sharing that idea and that vision is going to attract the right people. And that's what you want. You want the right people to come in and see the vision and be able to be affected in a positive manner because of the vision that you have. They have that aspect where they can jump in and go after that vision with you. And it's just the power of giving something to somebody where they can go and get big things done, dream big things and whatnot. But it's one of those things that how many of you are scared to share your vision? How many of you are scared to share the dreams that you have? And one of these things, it could be that you have this dream that it's a very large number. And for everybody, this number that you have is going to be different for everybody. Because for myself and Patrick with Two Native Sons, our vision and our goal with Two Native Sons is to impact 1 billion people. And a billion is the largest number. But the thing is, to be able to achieve it, it's coming into regards of sharing the vision, sharing the mission, sharing the dream to attract those people. Because having the collaboration piece, working together, it's going to make it a lot simpler to get to reach that goal of impacting 1 billion people. And so you may be thinking to yourself, and you're like, man, 1 billion people. Well, you've got to figure out what is your why and what's driving you and what do you really want to achieve? What do you want to bring to the forefront and what impact do you want to have? And so that's where, let me see here. Every idea. So this was an interesting thing in here about the idea of ideas. We all have ideas, but the sad thing is a lot of times these ideas don't come to fruition as we're holding these ideas in. We get scared and we're fearful that somebody's going to steal our idea and run with it. And it's like, all right, cool. But you got to remember, I've talked about this and I brought this up, is that your story separates everything else. Your story is going to separate your ideas and your dreams from everybody else because your story is what's being infused. So that's where, are you sharing your story? Are you allowing people to know that story and really buy into and really be excited because of that story, whatever it is? And so that's the importance of showing up as your true solid self and having the vulnerability piece and the transparency piece and just sharing, because you don't know who's going to resonate. You don't know. And so every idea in the world starts with a vision, and that comes from one person. To make it happen, that idea must be shared. And it's funny because in here they said an unshared idea is selfish. Sharing is critical to making an idea viable because it needs to be heard or witnessed by another to take its form and to be birthed into the world. Think about that. So you have this idea and you're like, oh, it's going to come to fruition, but I'm not going to tell anybody about it because I've got this crazy idea somebody's going to steal it. Well, if somebody steals it, all right, that's cool. But who's going to be able to bring it to the forefront in a better light? But it's unique because for an idea to grow and be birthed, you've got to share it. It's got to be put out there, and somebody's got to jump on there with you. And they said that the magic happens when a vision is co-created. Think about that. The magic happens when a vision is co-created. And it's a powerful thing because I look and it's like, man, a lot of the stuff that is shared in this book, The Buddha and the Badass, really lines up with what has occurred with two native sons, how two native sons came to fruition. And it's just the matter of sharing a vision, sharing a dream, and not being scared to repel the people. Because if you can repel those people that aren't meant to be part of your mission, it's going to be a beautiful thing because you're going to have those people that are meant to be there, that are attracted to it, they're going to show up. And then you end up cutting out that potential where you have the crab in the bucket situation, or you have individuals that may be a small dreamer. And if they get on the bus with everybody else, they may end up destroying the dreams because they've given up on their own dreams. And so this is the power of the fact of don't be fearful to repel the few, because if you're fearful of repelling the few, you're going to miss out on attracting the many. And so in there's a diagram that shows between repulsion and love. It's that middle line that everybody likes to play on for whatever reason. I don't know why. So it goes, I think I know why. This is my opinion. This is how I view it and whatnot. But I think you have a lot of people that play that middle ground and they don't want to shake the boat. They don't want to shake stuff up because they're scared. And it's the fact that we're all being judged. We're judging ourselves. And so because of the fact that we've gotten into the point where it's caveman day. It's all the older times where if you didn't fit in with the tribe, you had that aspect that you could potentially be thrown out. And at that point, yeah, it's survival that's kicking in. You could be eaten. In today's world, if you get kicked out of the tribe, cool. You just go find something else. You go find your own island and be standing strong on that island. And then you'll find other people that will want to come on the island with you. And so it's a powerful thing when you really see what takes place when you start getting in and living your true solid self and getting away from being your pseudo self and that fakeness, because you're playing this line of, well, I don't want to make somebody mad, so let me just play this middle line, even though it's not true to me. If I make this person mad, I'm not trying to make them mad, but if I make them mad, then so be it. I can't control that. That's up to them. And it's coming into the point with their lens. How are they looking at life? How are they viewing things? And so that's a tough thing to show up as your true self. But it's unique because today, well, earlier this evening, actually earlier yesterday evening, because it is after midnight, Dr. G had done a live with Amber Turner. And I'm just watching, and it's funny because I was watching Amber's one of her videos, and she's got a YouTube channel, and I know Dr. G was sharing that. But I was watching, and I was like, man, Amber and Dr. G would mesh perfectly to have her come on to his podcast. And so it's just funny to see how things come to fruition, how things come to grow, because if you are paying attention and being mindful, you can find different ways to connect people. And it's a beautiful thing because those connections can lead to some big things. And then today I had the pleasure of speaking to the gentleman, David, and this was an introduction by Dr. G. And so excited because he's got some ideas with some education pieces. And so he'll actually be a a guest host on the High School and Beyond podcast next week. This week, gotta love technology. I'm over here trying to edit the latest episode, and oh man, editing is not my favorite part of it. So it's one of these things that I'm trying to edit both. So I've got the Journey Beyond Divorce, and technology sometimes doesn't want to work for us. So it's been interesting, and so I slowed down the process. So I'm over here editing both of them. But no, it's good, just because I was talking to David today, and he's like, yeah, it's interesting when you start coming across podcasters and you get in that community, you start coming across other podcasters and you start having the collaboration piece. You start coming together to have their mastermind and talking about different things. And just listening to David, his passion and his energy, it was contagious. And so I'm excited to have him on next week with the High School and Beyond podcast. And then we're looking at having him come on next Wednesday for the Dreamer Cypher. And so tonight, with the Dreamer Cypher that we have going on, we'll have another guest that's been on before, Jordan Denman, and excited to have her come on because she can talk about her journey, because at the time she was studying for a real estate license when she was on originally, and now she completed her test, she's got her license, and just to hear that perspective and hear just her journey, and excited for that. And so it's beautiful just to see things collaborating, things meshing up, things growing, and it's just trusting the process, having that dream show up, having the vision show up, and chasing after the vision, after the dream, and going for it. And then if you need to make pivots, you make pivots. But it's not like where you come up to a challenge and the challenge bumps you back and you're like, oh, I got to pivot now. No, like, go and see, because maybe there's something that you got to adjust for that approach to overcome that challenge. But you got so many people that are quick to give up on their goals and their dreams because a challenge pops up. And they're like, man, this sucks. I can't do it because it didn't work out this one time. One time, really? Maybe it's 2 days you were talking to somebody and somebody's like, that's a crazy idea. And you're like, yeah, you're right. It's a crazy idea, so I won't go after it. It's like, you're going to listen to one person's advice. And this is the thing that you got to look at it. It's, there's a quote by, who is it? Theodore Roosevelt, I believe. And he was talking about the man in the arena. And, you've got to look at the individuals that you're talking to, the individuals that are bringing up the noise and speaking into your ear. Are those people actually in the arena? Or have they been battered? Have they been bruised? Are they bloody? When you look in their face, they've got the mud that's marred on their face from the dust and the sweat. And are they in the arena just like yourself? Or are they up in the stands watching and they're wanting to give their voice and their opinion? And so are you falling and listening to somebody that is outside the arena that's looking down? Or are you listening to the advice of somebody that's been in the arena and is still there and battling and doing what they need to? So you've got to take that in consideration, because if you're listening to people that haven't done it and have been scared to even jump into that arena, but they're trying to give you advice and say you shouldn't be doing it, well, have you even tried? And so you've got to look at it and ask and be like, has this person been in the arena before? Or are they one of the sideline warriors that wants to run their mouth and feel like they're doing something, but they've never jumped into the arena? And it's a unique thing, because I've seen it spoken. People are like, building a business is so hard. And it goes into that play when we had Titus on a couple weeks ago on the Dreamer Cypher. It's all about your verbiage. It's all about how you see things. And so if you go out and say building a business is hard, that's what's going to occur. And so your mind and your subconscious mind is going to find reasons why building a business is hard. And so it goes into the whole fact of the idea that it's 10,000 hours to be a master or something. Because this has been passed down so much and all that the joyous occasions there, we start believing it. And then we start hindering ourselves because we're like, well, It takes 10,000 hours before you can become a master. Well, who says it takes 10,000 hours? That's just that opinion. That's somebody's opinion. And then maybe they have statistics. I'm not for sure and whatnot. But that's where the beauty of books come into play, the beauty of podcasting, the beauty of YouTube. You go find those experts that have done it before. You learn from them, and you cut down your learning curve. You cut down how much time it takes to master whatever it is. And yesterday, when Patrick and I were going through the live training for podcasting, Travis, who was running it, he's like, you know what? You've got to look at it, because if you want to get to the next level, you've got to invest in yourself. And so that may be where you need to purchase a course to learn and get that capability to cut down your learning curve. But you got a lot of people are like, well, I want to do it, but it's too expensive. I want to do it, but that's money that's going out. Well, that money that's going out, what return is it going to have for you? It's crazy. Patrick's talked about it. You got people that are crazy to get, not crazy, but they're ecstatic and excited to get the PS5. And it's like, okay, that's great. But when it comes to that investment in yourself, getting that PS5, what is that going to do for you? Is it going to help you progress? Is it going to help you get the next skill set? And so that's the unique thing when you look at these perspectives. And so when you have an opportunity to take a course, what return on that investment is going to show up for you? How is that going to impact your life? And so it's a different way to look at things. It's a perspective piece. And it comes into that regarding of moving the dial and looking at it differently. And kind of look at it, the fact when you go get your eyes checked and they have the little machine on your eyes and they're like, is one or two better? And they're flipping the lenses around. It's the same thing here for you. Like, you've got to flip your lens and you got to be like, well, is one good or is two better? It's two or three or four, all the fun stuff. And so this is where it comes. You've got to control. You've got to take control. This is your life. And what do you want from life? What do you want to get out of it? What change do you want to see take place? And so that depends on you. You've got to make those determinations. And one thing that stuck out for the book that I was reading, let me see here. Doing things for the outcome rather than for the joy of the process disconnects you from yourself. And so that's one of the things. Are you right now going after things for an outcome, or are you going through with the journey to grow and learn? And so are you going for the joy of the process? And so that's the thing that you got to look at it. It's your journey. Are you enjoying the journey and actually taking in each step that you're taking? Or are you so focused on the destination? This is the results. Are you so focused on that you're missing out? And so if you're missing out on the steps that you're taking while you're on this journey, you're disconnecting from yourself, because this journey that you're on is the growth piece, the progression piece that has to occur. And it's not, sometimes it sucks. It does. And so maybe that's not the right verbiage, because then when you're like, man, this sucks, then like your mind's going to start finding things why it sucks. So maybe we change it and we're like, this is a lot of fun. Even though you're like, that's just very sarcastic the way you said it. But no, like, this is fun. How can I grow? Like, what lesson is here that maybe I didn't see before, or people have passed it before and they missed out on this lesson? What lesson is there for me to pick up and put into my toolbox, my tool bag, whatever it is, that's there going forward? What lesson is there to help with the progression and the growth? What is it? And so it's living life to the fullest every minute of the day. And so that's where we got to change our verbiage. And so I've got to catch myself when I'm doing these things, because that whole thing that, yeah, the journey is not fun. Who said it's not fun? It sucks. Who says it sucks? It's fun. Even though at the point you may be being sarcastic and be like, this is real fun. Well, if you say that, then your brain is going to find reasons to say why it's fun. And it's a beautiful thing because when you think about it, the most beautiful things in nature have had to gone through the pressure situation, has had to gone through the aspect of breaking a shell, breaking ground. And I had to laugh because I had completed a post earlier. It was Sunday, I think. But it was the fact that when you look at a garden or you look at trees and whatnot, death and decay takes place. And but like for a garden, you're putting manure in there, you're putting soil, potting soil, but you're potentially using shit to help something grow into something beautiful. And so think about that. Like you're going through your journey and there's going to be times that shit is just piling upon shit. And so you got to think about the beauty of nature. That shit's there necessary to create something beautiful. And so this is the same thing where it may be piling up, but when you get the chance to go back and dig, which you're like, why would I want to dig through shit? Well, sometimes you got to go in there and dig to get to that seed of positivity, that seed of the learning piece that you didn't see before. Because when you're in the storm, it's hard to find anything positive sometimes. But I think that's also, when you think about it, it's the power of gratitude. What are you grateful for? Even in the time of the high point of the storm, what are you grateful for? I would say when I look at it, like I'm grateful that I'm going through the storm, which is crazy when you think about it. You're like, why would you be grateful to go through a storm? That storm is going to lead to growth and progression. It's going to help you level up to that next level. Because it's interesting. I've said this before, and I brought this up when Dr. G and Amber were doing their live tonight. It's the fact that when people go to the gym and they get their abs, they don't stop working out. They keep working out. They keep refining it. They keep retooling it. So it's the same thing with your mindset. Once you get to a certain level, you've got to keep moving. You've got to keep growing, because the flip side to the gym analogy is if somebody that stops going for a while, what happens to their muscle mass? What happens to the muscle? They start losing strength. And so then they have to go back in there to rebuild it up. So it's the same thing here. If you're working on your mindset, it's a continual process. The journey is a continual process. So if you go through and you stop working on your mindset, everything that has taken place, you will start losing that ability. And so it's one of the things that you've got to continually build and continually have the progression and continually grow and get better than what you were the day before. So just some things to think about. But ultimately, like I started off the live here, excited for our newest sponsor for Two Native Sons, that of being the Chicken Coop. In the comments, I did link the video that Jasper had done with Sherry for Tabala's Food for Thought. So that's there. If you want to check it out, click on it. That will take you right to the video. But that will allow you to see the spirit and who Sherry is and what she's very passionate about, especially with the Chicken Coop. And then, of course, Patrick and I had done the live with Ricky last week. And so that's on my Facebook page. You can go take a look. But that way you can get an idea about who Ricky is and his passion and his drive. And then we've had Jasper on many, many lives. She's been on many, many different things with what we do. So you already know who Jasper is. It was funny because I was talking to Sherry today, and I've told Jasper this. I was like, you don't give yourself enough credit. And Sherry's like, yeah, like she comes into a room and she lights up the room. Her energy and her passion really does define and really does some big things. And that's why I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the relationship. I'm grateful for her being a sponsor with us. And I'm just grateful for her as a person and what she does with everything, like with Two Native Sons, key in a lot of that stuff. And so I'm grateful. So Jasper, thank you for starting this process, for trusting us and just being the catalyst that has started everything. excited for it. So, but if you guys have any questions, if you have anything on your hearts, you have a vision, a dream, don't hesitate to reach out. Send a private message, send us a message, and let's sit down and talk. Let's see what's going on, what you have going on, what resources you may need, what connections you may need, and let's see what we can do to help you get to that point. And then, of course, with the couple different channels that we have, our YouTube channel, go to YouTube, find Two Native Sons, like, subscribe, follow the channel. Also, share the channel with other people. Help us grow that, because ultimately we can't grow it ourselves. It really is dependent upon the community. The community is the driving force to help grow those different avenues organically, because Patrick and I are not going to go out and purchase leads. We're not going to go purchase likes and all that. No, that's not what we do. Like, ultimately, it's all the organic, real, true life stuff. So, like I said, Two Native Sons on YouTube. Go to YouTube, search Two Native Sons, like, subscribe, follow, share the video, share the channel and whatnot. But if you guys have anything, like I said, don't hesitate. Don't be fearful. You reaching out is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength. And we have to remember that we're limited to our experience. We're limited by our lenses. And so we only know so much. And to be able to go far, you got to work together. It's the African proverb that I've shared quite a few different times. You can either go fast by yourself, so you can go fast. The issue is, if you do that, you're limited by your experiences. You're limited by your lenses. Or you can go far working together. And so that's the beautiful thing. When you come together, you can go very, very far, because now you're leaning and leveraging the lenses of others. You're leveraging the experiences of others, and you're able to utilize that to create that catalyst to move further. And so it's a beautiful thing. But again, thank you guys for your support. We truly do appreciate the support that you're showing, allowing us to be able to play big, show up, share the value, help other people out. Yeah, and then anything that you took away, any aha moments, leave those in the comments. Anything that you see differently, any difference of perspectives, leave that. Would love to hear it, because that is just another avenue with the connection piece, with the communication piece. So share that. It's one of the things that I do challenge people, that don't be fearful about being scared of being looked at as different. Share those differences of opinions. So other than that, appreciate you guys. I'll catch you guys later. You have a great, it's early Wednesday right now, so enjoy your Wednesday. I'll catch you guys later. And then again, later tonight, we'll have the Dreamer Cypher. So that will be live streamed. So check it out. But other than that, love you guys. Have a great night. Peace. Check you later.